papa Green Street wasn't trust see all the new word aba wasn't Trump and if we Trump see I was word for some mandate was a man do why minti bi kurada ya wode ya be piem central na bro so a sa na ye ka no mande chire ba men say e bro so a word the Green Street latest lies I'm saying ko betimi atwodwom dan no manifesto no why e papa ye
Shatawale oji de wasa
oh na see a watu Jordan you eh shata wo goose wo goose materials wo materials we dey articulator tipper track dey fa double kese pa ne bi eh achia podo no any elevation be mu achia podo no tum say ne dey na akwa kakra elevation be betwa achia poni eh ne pede mu ati say ne na me say ne hadi afori mu ne wo mu aka dey ne say nya asem ketwa wait me see achia poni eh na ba ko na eh bo fruit no dai ko fo say modu kakra ne ade abehwe ne ro teta
so short ade monitor ne
me check ne ma ho ale wa say eduede ni wo
I'm on the same lane.
Why say eduede ni wo
okay with
ona ba na permit ya nyo nko ba ko bi so so yo nko hey
36 days more to election.
Dominic see about Okagusu no wo so sa da no ama for yem se won pa enkwa
IEA debate in limbo. Amidu asks EC boss to Papana Saba to resign. Be on top of Africa's most peaceful nations, Reverend Daku, and the big one, fallout from High Court judgment. EC Indum clash again as commission heads for Supreme Court.
Thank you. Neya International Henema ya wo TV so very interesting, beautiful and wonderful ye ne we be kampedu. Wona na ye ne ye adwuma da na pay graphic and some de aba na hu won temu wono. Ne se ma ka nyina say nei ma me Charlotte say ne isi mpedi fo to mo nte mo ase. High court ye court de wo de ne se ma ba fa papa kwasindum. Ne party de pe ya om kopie mo court e di nkudim sa ne. Wo mo kwan na ewro so wo mo collect ma me so wono won ka ewro asem. Wo ne baba kwasindum eni ewro asem ya. Ne se mo ka ne say fraudulent chrono and aba ne nkrata ne so no asem na no work wo enti asem bi wo ha ne Supreme Court wo mtire ne mu enti watabri asem ne Supreme Court santanya eno asem aba betodwa o hwemu yi papa yewura medu eja wado ne wasande aso de biom ene na asem ho na se ne no ayede papa ya eja watekoda ye wasa sori ya water se ma me Charlotte won de ne susu yem nke be apa be betira na me se adwuma no hu na ne so was na se asem we papa kwesi nim tumi kokot ko dibi mom dia na se dia wo yo no asem ne mra na wo so no kra wo ntia ase enti pe ba bi twide ye ai nei NDC fo so wo mo nko debate no anka eba so no wo ba pa che no general mosquito so wo ma pa che sa ba still wo mo dwere ho GBC de no wo mbeko ai ye pa de bia next year because see ade wo mo ti ado ahoma so ya wo mo guso ni mpadimfo di ho nkomo enya si pintu wo mo nya so wo mo de wo mo ya announcement no debate bia ni ho mo ko bia his excellency wo be ko GBC de no ha na ai ye de no goings.
Yet also the inquiry there to also President Mahama thinks about people Tema Mayor and internal party cleaning. NDC chairman exposes Donata over alleged fraud. And Manklalo worries over emerging armed youth groups. Big one, Mayor slams tribal politics against campus.
What's the campus you? And they were said warrior and politics no shut down ko ya and ya tribalism in me free ha shut down ya mayor na etu no force say so bantan no de acha no no a wode na moye ne campaign wo hwe wo nya na politics ati Ghana ene ye hwe ma Ghana etumi aterate enti ye yansam na afutu a wode ama no so wonya sa na ema no a wo yo ewotema ne potem no his excellency John Dramani Mahama wo mo kire mo titiri tema mayor wo si excellency adwuma obeba ma Ghana de adutwam eni o hwe se de arrange aya nado wonam rage asa wonam abrochire Germany ne eda no de ampeduko hu ye bie rage dai nya asem ketwa ne cycle wo munya mie podo no se de ehue fanti ebufa so eni entine wonim say excellence wa boa Ghana wo dwene ye ho adwuma wo de ama amanfo ne ade nya asem ketwa entie ya ade Ghana fo no wo mesa to ama no wo maka cha John ene eto so na kan fie nan Donata ne se $1 billion bi afa ne nsase no wo no an constituency chairman efutu ene wo kira say yesi sika bi ede ma no so fa mo afalefo ye nuanu afafo ya wo da mpotem ho nyo papa esike wo hu bebi oza afa se we di so wa yendan wo ka bisa chairman na chairman so sike na lo horo ne sofuru ho na le sike wo ma papa na lo ni mo akọ wo ntira wa asam no nya zo le ke bi o we twa do nwa wo se bibisa wo ka bisa donata bebi sika no afa.
Yeah, also, the Ghanaian Times, EC goes to Supreme Court over PPP's ruling and robbers raid mobile money shop. Oh.
Sika wo.
Na no we can share say one.
Ai wo. Na ko di 10 billion kro mbe bia ma wo ho. Uko kase kama.
Omo fan gusa save that the NM save no omo ni bi wo.
That dey save ni nipa de kura ki. Bank kura manfo bowura ho ko wi ade mobile shop. Etwi akai.
Ankawe.
Hey. Bank kura wo mbowura ho ko wi a.
Na no musi na so mo je ho. De o ya se hey.
Omo ball ni so ho.
Ball na ni so yi tu gina na so na o sesa ni nyina mo.
Enim haye.
Now reason is you odin kanta ji. Psychiatric nurses abandon patients and Central Region hit by cholera.
Kada do. The Central Region. Ne kwada da du ahudidie. Oh, cholera ndi ya.
Oh my goodness.
Efi ye hu fin.
Court rejects suit against EC.
So, ye hu fin. Now the only independent candidate here nei one hwe kwan say Ghana for betimi ato ama no na wode asemi yewra ye bo ade asemi ko pie mo court ne se mo de ko nyina say nei abato ho ma na ye de kwa adwuma ne wodim say grofo bi awom wo mo hye ma me Charlotte ne mpanimfo mo nyi grofo ne firim wo bi wo kra no o se mfata so obeto aba ni nyina no wo mo hwe no wo mo klinim ne court abo ato atwe ne se na papa wo to goloma ahiya no wo say ye bo mo so wo ha na mami wo ye say adwuma na wo hemfa o de asem na pie court wa mabo ato atwe ne ho nsem Ghanaian Times de aba na me Charlotte wo say asem na court so e wo high court no a PPP fo kwadi nkunim wo no wonte no ase o wo so ye lawyer ni di ote ase ne nya sa na te etitremu bi wo ha Supreme Court fo mfama no na wo mfa nkonkwa ya adwuma se de be obi abete no ho ase psychiatric hospital nurse fo so wo mu nya adwuma sotoro na yeye sumbo na yeye o ma de bebre nei enura de be wo mu ayade wo ho de nyina no akwa ape enti nei wo mu nkonkwa ya adwuma otum wo mu adwuma mabusuafo ho enya se kom na de wo mu ana ye ntwi o mu ka na emum se ye be bo mo sotoro pa de ne wo menya atena fie enti nei wo mu eda ho no kom na eku wo mu ye nkwe.
Well, departure hall on life but they only say una ta tu kwan.
Wo say him fa na yefe.
And they
so was article wonu
muti una ta tu kwan.
So was article wonu muti.
So make me so una ta tu kwan ka kire once all mind tete.
Yes.
So obi ko ja kwabra santi kwan a e bia opese ama ne be brusu nti o twen se ye isusu ye mugaze ye we ye be ka no anka waje kofi.
Abroche omo ye. Any Germany, America, what to be my own baby, a big nano. Aye. Oh, I am not honor. I am. Me name here, name man, almost home, papa, maybe no money. No, don't quite. I did not want a bomb is not sure. And next time for a bag of sale, Mukum. Won't that job show my days in the top what now the bag of so Mukum. Security for whom breakfast or me to quiet. Me, I'm no remo, near blue, I didn't have face, so me a boy will identity almost. Oh, yeah, Rembum, you baby identity. My mamma won't to for very affiliate. Was the identity? Near where they all quite a passport, mom, one quick from passport. And one identity. Thank you. Was here to teach in the 18 and 200. I will come as I could see idea. I will come as I'm so welcome, Rochaba. Who call 5 days, yeah. And then I am for him. I am for him, so 25 days. And yeah, my OBS can you be able to move? Well, BS can show be able to at it. Yeah, the honey and the honey and hey, boy, and 2 quiet. 5 days, all baby, America here for you 25 days. What's yes, let's say to me, a quiet the open. And money the address will be idea or honor. Oh, yeah, what you said. What's over to camera? How about you come an idea? Yes, you better not take us. No, will be cast a bed ticket to Neko baby, and we'll soon be I should be any. More Musumu conquer suffer. Yeah, Mudu Airport, I must say, a man for a reference microphone. The new proceeding guy. EC fights in Supreme Court. Yeah, airport for you now. To immigration for any penny for airport. We are too much. More for food. Tell who said no. I do my for so. Yeah. Very international private and near media service. Thank you.
All right.
That must say we are brutal. You're feeling. Thank you, Chopkins. What's in your mama?
I tell you.
Yes, that's all on your biasa. Is that as well president, but yeah, too much. And I know woman who be a who. One most of us want to fancy the crack. I don't minister by Yankee. Yeah, you drew on that is we ask him as we appear more. Eh, now some man never do. Okay, now so we are popular time to look at the dialogue.
The golf union was shaming crime election.
I don't do the can and one a man.
About said you may
and one golf and one time. No golf, there be no to me general quite 50. Any idea, but no problem. A man golf 2 year man, yes, the bush for Benny. Yeah, so we would do a bush for more.
Okay, in ties no.
Okay, yeah, would say me dodgy now.
The new proceeding guy. EC fights in Supreme Court as Martin Amidu condemns decision, and the TC Energy financial tango. Watch out. Oblogo goes gay as they get new chief, and Supreme Court says today over alleged fraudulent gazette of Osumanch. Oh, Osumanch, Papa,
no, say my. That's why I has it. Oh, send us some more trash or more trash when the debate will be able to last. Will be able to last. Mamma Charlotte said, so I'll call to a pack with him, couldn't dear with you wanted a once here. You are there some no copy more. Year a dairy show, and yes, somewhere far a year, and then somewhere who saw 2 months from Papa, where daddy and power 2 months from Papa, and they were Casafas a crusading guide story of me.
Prophecy of a Kufuado law stirs controversy in a Akwamu traditional council. They are a cause of. I don't because Shen comes in another illusion. Okay, so mama position on sa asofo na.
And Canada say a year I said that you call a breakthrough family chapel bishop for said to what did you do and who can see a baba what say e bi mo ha asofo ni bi ho a wo madwuma ne say o mehye nkom ama nations like wo mutumi esihine asofo ni bi sihine nyame ma wo sa
ne mo friend wo ho
e bi ha your sa friend wo ho ne mo nyame de catch wa o kan no we de ma to ho no we twa so asore a wo yeso no obi o ka wi na akada ne to ato a no o tetire e na de we sisi ya na de e na hwan na bi e tesa wo nhu de omoyo ne ade nti aburu so e ne ade bi no mo okra ne ye si ballot box wo mtumi kokote ni ma ne ade o na ye SMP me to aso a na say de mpam ho asem o nti ne ma ye nko Ghanaian rice ne de to aso na dan kwa Akufuado ene wo mo kire sisi ade aso wa ye mere ene ya me pa choyi bebi obekọ bia na mesrewo bebi obekọ bia na ka kuma oh masa nka me foro ye enti e de me pa mo chopa am no me na me ntumi foro na ne ma wo me ni so ene ade less de sa asem na betu da wo kire say university professor bi ya o Cape Coast ene de sa asem na tudwa so na sa de na wo ye ne emwa o wonya na sa mama fo nim se de ne abere do so why this place ba force wa president dey so ne force sa
well mafu mama fa nkofa chewa so I know interest no ndi dekakra
mama no mbo afu pa what's what ase dey no dey food poison no no obi kontomre ma food poison kontomre
Chinese woman grabbed with guns and girl 12 wins Gospel Star Award. Okay. Big one, EC drags Indum to Supreme Court.
Some color no ni nyina nse ma me Charlotte wo kwakwato a wo che se PPP some no want no wase wo high court a wo do according to mu no na yesi China di mi ma me bia wo no ono anya kukuduro China wanya kukuduro nei udura arrival ho arrival utumi de visa ho eba Ghana arrival ho utumi de visa ntini uni bia no problem na no what trade ma me a ono wo Ghana 32 small girl like you Lucy wo pump passion ne kura no ya che se wo mutata no ma hu se ma no to otuo e wo Ghana ha wo no free ni kurom tanaw wo no beto tu ama ye wo Ghana ha se ya pump passion wo hu license fo ya wo kura ho niema hodo a wo mu de hyetu emu ya wo mu ye na se kwansiri wo mu che no na brante bi de debra wo so pie mo o se etu no no de ya no wo se no problem wo de akọ license bra wo so wo de license bi o mu ko ni fie no so niema hodo egu onya asem keto ayi se ma beto dwa ne nkrata ne de ho nsem aba delegate nsem no yenko
okay erasem kese mo and sa an electoral commission for so ono se ona call
ma menchia o hene baako menchia o hene baako wo hene pon wo hene popro ya wo stakrade o chia me na se yenchia no de na woda wo de wo de sepo apramudo hene na eja kwame na ya otoso dubaako x1 dubaako mekwa x ye 10 anti anapay happy birthday
okay ye rasam kese mo anisa electoral commission for so ono so ona kokenka eyense me free high court by a fankunim dia PPPD say one on for the presidential ballot paper no so one so one dey court bad time na court bad time di nchiremu aba na san komo no ana ye bedi ye twa how many back aba ye ba ye di san komo no.
So that is where my concern is, and with barely 37 days to the elections, if we lose just a week and it's less than a month to the elections, we will be working against time. The other aspect also is that it depends on the nature of the case that has been filed in the Supreme Court. If the case is only to quash the decision of the High Court in respect of Adom, then it may not resolve all the issues. But if it's crafted in such a way that it will border on interpretation of the CI vis-a-vis the Constitution, then maybe we may be heading elsewhere and be empowering the Commission to take such decisions. My view is that
yes, sir.
You in disqualifying persons based on the actions and inactions of an institution, it means that Ghanaians will also be disabled from taking decisions about whether someone is fit to lead the country or not.
All right, let me come to Mr. Opong. So, Mr. Opong, I know you had a different position. The EC is taking a step in the right direction in your view?
Yes, good evening. It is indeed. And I think that without sounding repetitive, I still disagree with my good friend. And the fact that time may not be on the side of someone, or time may be of essence. A person who strongly believes that there is a dispute in law should just shelve it just because there is no time to do something. In any case, I have held the view that, and I will not rely on what has been filed, which I'm yet to see, but I'm saying that when it comes to the part or the portion of the decision which states, and if I may just quickly refer to it, that, quote, the court order or the court orders, quote, that the respondents afford opportunity to the applicant to make the necessary alteration or amendment to its nomination paper for it to receive same. I think I have a problem with that because the court clearly stated, and I will say that this is a judgment that I really have described as awesome, very good for us, but these were the grounds: breach of the rules of natural justice, and 2, error apparent on the face of the record. The court clearly held, and I fully share, that there was no error apparent on the face of the record. So what was left was about the rules of natural justice and whether they have been breached. And they were set out clearly in the case of Lord Diplock. But, the court stated that. So I was of the view that once the court held that the steps that the EC adopted in arriving at the decision were wrong in law, the court should have ended there, because there was no issue of whether or not the EC was to afford them an opportunity to, as it were, amend or alter any error. There was no issue of whether or not there was an error on the record.
Okay, let me bring.
Understand it. Yeah.
Okay, let me bring Dr. Edu said. So Dr. Edu said, obviously the EC says in their rules they stated that there are certain things that you cannot do on the nomination forms, which would be criminal or of a criminal intent. One of which is the forged signatures, and certainly that's a bone of contention that one person cannot subscribe in 2 areas using 2 different signatures. Isn't that something that rightfully the EC is seeking to pursue criminally?
Well, that's what they are attempting to do. But does that also mean that the fundamental principle that you should give a hearing to the other side should not be respected?
Yeah, Dr. Adom did get a hearing, but this is about
post decision hearing. No, that's no hearing. In fact, it's even prejudicial hearing. When after the fact that you taken the decision to disqualify him, he asked for 5 minutes and is given maybe 15 minutes or 5 minutes. That is not consequential. I think now we hope that the Supreme Court will pronounce on this issue. But my worry is that if you are not careful, the determination by the Supreme Court may not be able to resolve all the other cases which are also pending in the High Court.
There are also similar cases, sir, in some of the other the other candidates.
For instance, there are some of the persons who were disqualified because they had their form subscribed to by persons from the same persons, more or less. So
two people subscribing for the same candidate, yes, or somebody being on the exclusion list. And if that is identified, that's also wrong.
Who has the exclusion list? What is even the guarantee that that exclusion list is even credible? You know, we live in a country whereby people can victimize individuals without any justification. So my worry is that if two persons subscribe for the same candidate, and then you tend to disqualify both candidates, how can you then be fair to one of them? That one person had the right subscription in the first place, and then the other person didn't. So if you end up disqualifying both individuals, it means that you are not serving the ends of justice.
Lawyer Pong, you say that the issue of time and all that is not an issue per se. It's about what is right in law. But the reality is that we have just 36 days to the elections. We haven't balloted for the presidential. We have to deal with APC suit, NDP. We have to deal with PNC as well. And then the EC goes back to court. Doesn't that make the whole process complicated and create uncertainty?
In fact, that is a matter we can talk about another time. And I've held the view that the EC may be blamed for this because if they had started earlier, even sometime in January, these matters would have been resolved. But that has nothing to do with the matter at hand. And my view is that we should not, in my respectful opinion, sacrifice the law on the altar of convenience or lack of time. What would be the alternative? Is it not better for us to resolve these matters in accordance with civil procedure, or what is a course with civility by going to court, than people holding? In any case, the respondents through their applicants, through their lawyers, issued, if you like, a caution or a notice that if they lost, they would have gone up to the Supreme Court. What is wrong with EC also going to the Supreme Court for a finality to be given to this particular part of the decision?
Okay.
I think that
Mr. Pond, one thing is that there's no guarantee that resolving the Indians case in the Supreme Court will bring finality to this issue. There's no that guarantee is not there.
I'm saying
and if you compare the rhetoric of maybe the lawyers of Indium, that they will be going to the Supreme Court in the event of they losing, with a position taken by the EC, you'll be missing something.
Well, so I tell you, I question common be a question. And they dear, we are no how ojina kono ejina nchiremu no. We say your court to bad time. Na is entiase no nyanya adwuma yi. Enti e pese entiase eye adwuma na CP na sita. Ye ade srede nyina say dia abenfo no kan wasem ne. Ba ko say emre wo ho because won timi ka say brenti no. Won so be fo obi fa hodie edisa akwa. Nti no ni nyina mu no se enkamfu anya ntie the Supreme Court na nkasa ebeka eno na ebema eya asema
na se na ba bia ya
gebro kama
wo mbetire mu ana obi ate ho ase
nti se ehu bi wo ho se bia December 7 be se so enso eno de enye wo wase
7 December e betwa
no enka na ase na afi yenkoto aba ebiro ma wo so adwen kire ho 0302 211 okay ebrenim
amamtia na omi apia ene wa woda na omi apia wo akoka akemoda efrijan ho na wode ba ye se word no Kofi Amankwa se eye mandacity Kofi Amankwa se mandacity unde timbrofo sa America brofo mandacity o se wala wo pk e wo go so ne dia wode aba o se woni matena medu eye adwene na afi eye teacher ya ono so wo eye teacher mante wo se excellence wo dana se papa so wo ba ye nso ano na wo be obebo ntoa e wo ho wo se yenchia Sylvia Boateng Mrs. Sylvia Boateng wo bubu ahye great prophet of bubu ahye de ba ye sorry so
okay sorry so on sa ebra so say dago kensi bro kwadwo ni
kwaku maba Ghana kwadwo ni kwaku
ana Tigo is that correct
Europe Burgers maba Ghana na Tigo
yakwaba yeba ebishia Wallace